In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Elementor containers to design Tesla.com website. Okay, so first, we have our blank page already created. As you can see, there's nothing here, but I'm going to show you what I did earlier on before I started this tutorial. So let's go into this page that I created. Okay, so this is the Tesla homepage that I have created using Elementor already. I'm going to show you how the Tesla homepage looks like right now. Okay, so as you can see, literally there is no difference. So this is what Tesla has on their homepage, and this is what I did. So yeah, to be frank, it was really amazing creating this, and I had a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you how I did it, and also I'm going to go through this again and then try to recreate it in this tutorial. So let's head back into our blank canvas. So first and foremost, I'm going to try and create the menu. So when you go on Tesla's website, there's how their menu looks like. There is a little animation going on over here, which I will not necessarily try and go into that. To be a bit of work to do the animation for this tutorial, so I'm not going to get into that. But this is how the animation looks like. And over here we have the same hover bar. It doesn't slide from like one end of the menu to the other. It just, when you hover on it, it just moves along. So, but we're going to recreate the menu so you can see how I did the menu. So first and foremost, we're going to use containers. Remember, don't use containers on any live website. This is still in alpha stage. It is not, it's not advisable to use it on any live website. So, but for tutorial sake, so we're going to use it. So first, let's create a row container. So this is a row container. We're going to make it into full width because, as you can see, it stretches from this end to the other end. So that is full width. We will need three things. We will need the logo, and then this menu, and then this other menu over here. So let's look for image. Okay, and then let's put the two menu navs inside. So menus, you search for a nav and then put it inside. So this is the first one, and then there's the second one. So here we're just going to click on this menu and go back into the sidebar where the settings are, and then we look for. So I already created these menus in Elementor, in WordPress. So I'm not going to do that. It's just going to take too much time to just go back and do that. So I'm just going to pick them. So this is that. And then the second one is going to call Tesla 2, which is the one that has the 3 on it. So we've done that. Now let's look for the image. I'm going to go here. I already imported the images. So there's a Tesla logo. Yeah. So the next thing to do is we can style it. But before we do the styling, I want to, I believe that the height on this was 56. The height for the header, when I checked Tesla website, it was 56. I'm going to click on this cog icon, come to minimum height, and then give it a 56 minimum height. As you can see, the logo, the header menu is in the middle. So as usual, you click on the cog icon again, come down to items, and then you click middle, or you click center. Okay, now we need to spread we need to spread the element. To do that, we're going to use content, justify content, and we're going to use I think center around, no, center even, no. So we're going to use space in between. So space in between is going to do fine. The next thing to do is put this spaces that you see the pattern that we have on the left and the right hand side. We're going to do that. So I'm going to click over here, come in here, and I believe that was 50. Sorry, that's the top. So right, give it a 50. Oh, that looks too much for that. I'm gonna give you a 30 over here, and then I'm gonna give you a 50 over here. I'm gonna tell you why I'm doing that, because Elementor has, as you can see, these things, they have like little spaces over here, which we have to think about when we're given the pattern to this element. So that is for the left and right hand side. The next thing to do is to get the logo to become small. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go into custom, and I think that was like 24. Okay. Let's see. Let's do this full width, right? And then come over here and say, give me pixels. We can find that when we go here, just to make it more easier. Go back here. So this was, okay, so this is I'm going to copy this just to make things easy. So the logo on their website, when I checked, was the size. So I'm just going to copy the size to make things go much faster. So I'm going to go back here, go to custom, and then paste this over here. Go back here and then also copy this. And then I'm going to click on apply. So after that, we just need to go back in and then change some of the settings here for the height. Okay. So we have made, as you can see, that it's pretty small as that. So we have achieved that. The next thing to do is to create that the hover, not the whole hover animation, but just this light gray background when you hover on each element in the menu. So we're going to do that. We're going to click here, click on the menu that we want to do it on, and then first we need to make sure that the text is correct. They're using Gotham. I think I uploaded Gotham already, so I'm going to go in here and then look for Gotham. Yeah, so that's Gotham, and then we're going to make this into so that's 500. So that's good. The color that they're using here is a bit of let's see, did I store any color? Okay, I didn't store any of the colors here, but it's around this. It's around this color. Yeah, it's more like a dark gray kind of vibe. So that should be that. The next thing to do is to make sure we have the right. I think this was a 14. I think that was a 14. Is that correct? I think so. The next thing to do is to remove this green highlight. To do that, you click back on the menu. You go back to content, and then pointer is what gives you that kind of effect. So over here we want background. So there's the background. We've chosen background, and as you can see, the background is still a green color. We want the fade. Okay, swipe left. Not really. Let's see. Shrink. No, we just want a fade. The fade is kind of good. So we go back, we click on style, we're still in the menu, and then we come back here. As you can see that the whole pattern on this is that the whole thing is pretty much big. So we're going to decrease how the height of the background color. To do that, we're going to use vertical pattern to make it a bit not too big. Yeah, I think this is good. And then we're going to change the color for the hover into, it's not white. So we need to bring this all the way down. And then we have to make sure that the text is still pretty much it's still the same color that we did. So I'm going to go back here and then just copy the color, go back in here and then just paste it over here. So when you hover, right now you can't see it because we haven't placed a background for it to stand out. The next thing to do is to give it a border radius of 15. I think 15 is good. Let me see. Okay, so 15 is not bad. The next thing to do is probably don't make this too big. Yeah, make it probably a 10. So that's the pattern on the horizontal side. I'm going to give it a 15. That looks good. Yeah, so I think we are done with that. I'm going to just copy, come over here, and then just paste the style. So because both of them are the same, there's no difference. So we don't have to worry ourselves trying to recreate that. So that is for that. The next thing to do is to add the next step, which is the background image and the these text. So let's see how we're going to achieve that. Remember, designing websites, you have to think about it in boxes. So going back to the website, there's a big box that has an image and it has probably little boxes on top of it. So we're going to use that same idea to create it. So we're going to click on here. We're going to add a new container. So click on the plus sign. And then, one thing, as you can see, everything is flowing down over here. So from top to bottom. But going back into Elementor's, going back into Tesla's website, they're doing something really funny over here. So this whole container, these images are inside one container. So the background image is in one container, and then there is a sub container that holds this little containers. I can show you when we start achieving that. So we're going to create one big container that's going to flow from top to bottom. So we're going to do it in, we're going to click on the column. Then remember that the background image is also behind this. It's also behind this, the menu. So what we have to do is click on the menu, and then we have to give it a negative margin of 56. So go back and then put negative over there. So as you can see, the new container that we added is now behind the menu. So we go in and we have to make the container full height. And to do that, we're going to use viewport height of 100. So it covers the whole entire viewport. So depending on the kind of device that you have, this container that you see on the screen is going to cover the whole viewport height. So that is that. The next thing to do is add our image. So we can make sure that the container is selected. Go to style, click on background, and then choose image. The car that you're using is this. I think that is a Model 3. They say it over there. So Model 3, right? Okay. All right. So we have imported our image into the container. The next thing to do is make sure that everything is center. Good. And then the size is cover. All right. So as you can see, we are almost there. The next thing to do is when you go back over here, you can see that the image is gone. To fix that, we have to go back to the menu, click on this, and then give it a Z index of probably 10. So the image, the header is sitting on top. So the container itself is sitting on top of the container below it. So if we are to go back here, you can see, okay, the image is now showing and everything. Okay, so one thing that probably we might want to fix is to make sure that the background for the hover is more visible. So we click back on the menu, and then we go back to hover. Probably make this a bit visible. Probably go down to black, right? Great. and then move this all the way to the left. So this, what we're doing now is we are reducing the opacity behind it. So probably take the bit. All right, I think it looks, probably we might need to just push it a little bit more. Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm just going to copy this again, come back over here, and then just paste the style. Yeah, so good. So we are done with the, I think we are done with the whole menu. Let's go back into putting the text in here. To put the text, as I was saying, this container is just for the background. That's what their own website did. And I just want to replicate that. So I'm just going to follow. We're going to put our next container in here. So this container is going to house these texts that we have, and then this little animation down there. Okay, so we have our container. The next thing is to make sure the container is in the middle. We can do that by doing this and then making sure that, not that per se. We have to click on this big container that house, the one that has the image inside, and want to bring the sub container or the child container down. We want to bring it into the middle. So first, before I even do that, let me give this child container a bit of height. So I'm going to click on it, come down over here and say, problem use viewport height, and then just drape it down. Then after that, I'm going to go back to the main container that has it. Click on it, go to item, and then make sure that it comes into the middle. So now the container is in the middle. The next thing to do is get these texts. Okay, so text number 1. So 2 texts over here. So duplicate, and then yeah, so we can have that text on this side. So the next thing to do is to add our text, and then go back in here and then just make sure that it is bottom. Give it a bottom, and then probably it's a medium bottom, so we can choose probably 400. 400 is not doing. Okay, 300 should be good. Yeah, so 300 should be good, and then I'm just gonna find the size of this text by using this extension. Click on this. Okay, the size is 40. It's 40. So we're gonna come back in here, click on the text, and then give it a 40 pixel for the size. And then go back here, click on that. The next thing is to have this text. Okay, so paste the text. Find the size of the text by using this extension. Click on that. It's a 14. So go back into Elementor. Click on the text, and then click on style. Go to typography, and then give it a 14 of that. Probably 400 for the weight. Let me see what did they use for the weight text. Yeah, 400. So 400 should be good. Just make sure that everything is in the middle. Okay, so this is for the two items. Here there is this underline whole thing going on. You can do that by using text decoration. I had to create a class for it to be able to do that. So I'm not going to do the whole code today on this, but this is what I did to get the whole underline. So I'm just going to copy the code, and then probably I might just go through the code for you to also see how to do that. Okay, and then the next thing is to go back in here, go to advanced, and then there's more code, and then come over here and then copy this. All right, so we have achieved the whole underline text. Okay, so what we are doing here is, let me go back in here, click on the text, go to content. So we have the first section of the text, which is order online for. So that one is completely normal text, and then the next text is this touchless delivery. So touchless delivery has two classes. The class that is causing the underline to happen. So that is the class for this, which is called txt2. And then I have another class which is atxt2, which is removing, because for CSS, when you put in probably when you put in an aref tag, what happens is that it changes the color and it does other funky stuff. It has like a hover and other stuff like that, which we don't really need. So what I did was, let me go to the advanced so I can show you what the code is. So this is to remove the text. And then this thing over here is to make sure that if I take this out, you're going to see what happens. So that the underline is behind the text, which is, we don't want that. On Tesla's website, you can see the underline is below the text. So to achieve that, that is why I use this code over here. So this text underline position under is causing this line to be right underneath it. The next thing to do is, if I remove this A tag, you're going to see what happens. You see that there is a default color that is applied to that text. We don't want that, so I'm just going to put that over there. And then we also want to remove the hover. So if I hover it, you're going to see it's the color of blue. We don't want that too. So I use this code to also remove that. So that is for the text over here. The next thing that we need to do is to have these two buttons. Go back to these two buttons, and we're going to achieve that. Okay, so I wouldn't say that's an issue, but we can literally just use. I'm going to use a container. We can use a wrap, but I'm going to use a container to achieve that. Okay, make sure that this new container is inside this container. So, okay, right. So that is that, and I'm going to click over here. I want the container to be down. I want it to move down to the bottom of the bottom of the main container. So I'm going to use flex end. Going to cause a little issue. Okay, so that is where the issue comes in. Okay. If not, we might have to use two containers to achieve that. Okay, go back in here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these texts inside this container. So that's one container, and I'm just going to duplicate the container, right? And then after that, I'm going to space the two containers that I have in here. I'm going to make them to the bottom. Okay, so the issue with leaving the two texts at the top by itself is that when you want to separate or put the text at the bottom, either you're going to use a margin and then I really didn't want to use a margin for that. So using the power of Flexbox, you can have two containers, like these two containers over there, and then you can just use Flexbox to make sure that they are separated to the bottom and then the top. So that's what I just did. So there's a container down here. I'm going to delete the text inside the container, and then let's put our buttons. Is it in the container? Yes. Okay. And then just duplicate it. Okay, there is something funny going on down there. I'm just going to refresh this. All right. Okay, so it came down back again. Okay, so as you can see, these things are stacked on top of each other. We don't want it to be in a row. So to do that, we just want to click on that. So we click on the container that we want to turn into a row, and then we come to item, and then we do direction, and we just click on row. So now these two items are now in a row, and then we want to make sure that they are in the middle of the container. So we're just going to click on middle. More like center. So that is for that. Go back in, and then let's start copying the text. So custom text. The next one is existing delivery. Click on that and then just go here and then change the text. Okay, so now we need to make this whole long. We need to create this button. So I'm going to go back in here, click on the button, and then come back and then we click on style and the color. I just need to find the color for this button because I'm using an extension to find the color. So that is the color. Go back into Elementor, click on this, say change background to that. Next is to change the text. Make sure it's Gotham. It's Gotham, and then we can even find the size of the text in that. That is a 12. So we change this to 12, and then we change the. Okay, everything is already in caps, so we're gonna leave that. Probably give this a 14. We can find out what weights they're using. Okay, they're using a 500 weight, so go back in here and then just change this to 500. All right. For some reason there. Okay, so now let's do it. The whole pattern. There is a slight pattern at the bottom, which is mostly because of Elementor, but we're gonna fix that later. Let's do a 10 for the top, and then let's do an 8 for the bottom. Okay, probably 13 and then 11. All right, and then we can do like 65. 65. Okay, sorry. Okay, that was 2. Bottom should be a 10. And then this should be a 65. Okay, so 65 for that, and then just go to the radius and change that to 25. All right, great. So we've done that. I'm just gonna copy this and then paste it over here. Good. And then go back in here, go to style, good, just copy this. Copy the color for the background because that is the same color they're using for the text, and then just change the background to a light gray or a white. Yeah, they're using a light gray for the background. So that yep. The next thing is to have this little animation here. So I already imported the SVG for that. So I'm going to go into the main Elementor section, and then remember, so where are we going to put this image? We're going to put it in the container that has the background image. So I'm just going to go in here and just make sure that it is out of container. Okay, good. Great. So down here, we're just going to go in here, just find it. Good. Okay. So now we have this over here. And then we have this also on the side. So the next thing to do is let's see where we are now. Okay. So this text is all the way, it's really down below. So to achieve that, we can still say that we can use a pattern to achieve that. We can go into this, click on the container that has the text, this text, and then just go into it and say, okay, give it a top pattern of 200. But as you can see, it is not pushing the rest of the text down. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to click on that the main container that has the 2 of this text and then these buttons, and then go back in and then push this down. Push it all the way down. Okay, so now we've pushed it all the way down. The next thing that we're going to do is go back and then do the pattern for this text. So we click on the container that has the text in it, go to pattern, and then let's do 200. Okay, so looks like the 200 is a bit much. So we're going to go back in and then say, change it to 150. All right. It looks that we are almost there. You can see that, the space in between here is a bit bigger than the space in between here. I think the space in between here is probably a 10 pixel. Elementor already has like spaces created for containers. So I'm going to click on the container and then go to layout and then go to items, and then you see this? You can make this big and small. So let's go in and just say we need that for 10, and then close this and then go back. All right. So even though we might not be able to get like the same position that the text is in, if we want to do that, it's going to take a bit of time. But as you can see, we are really close. The next thing to do is probably give this a pattern too, so that it go all the way to the bottom. Even if we don't want to give it a pattern, we can go back and then click on the container that has the text and then just push it down, push it down, push it down. Okay, that should be good. And then the next thing to do is just go back to this text container, go back to advanced, and then probably do the 200. And then let's see what happens. Okay, pretty close. The next thing to do is, you see that the space between this and that is a bit big. So we go back into the container that has these elements, and then click on advanced, because we're going to do a pattern on the bottom. So go there and then probably do a 50. All right. Wow. So we've been able to create. Okay, so I think this text is not in Gotham. So before I even say we've been able to create, let me fix that. So Gotham, great. And then let's see. All right. Seems like we have achieved something here. So just to iterate, this is what we created with Elementor Flexbox Container. And this is what we've created. And this is what this is what Tesla's website also has. So it's pretty similar. I don't think there's much difference. The only difference is probably the this animation that I haven't created, which I can make using GSAP, and also this whole thing, which I can also create using GSAP. So if you want to see me do the animation for this, and then also this little animation down here, you can comment down below. And you can also let me know if there's anything that I missed. But looking at this, I don't see anything apart from the animation that hasn't been done. So, yeah, I think that should be that for the website. As always, you have to remember that creating, recreating designs, going through design is one of the best ways for you to be able to master a tool like Elementor, Webflow, Whisk. Because if you don't practice using the tools that are available, it will be difficult for you to do something complicated when the time comes. So if you have some spare time, or you should create time and then learn the tools that you have. Use it to create a design that you have seen or you like. By doing that, you perfect your skills. You don't become probably the most advanced user, but you are able to know how to achieve some things when the time comes. And I think that is pretty good, because looking at this website, you might not really know how to achieve it, but me creating it, you'll be able to say, oh, okay, so you can do this and you can do that, and that is pretty you are able to learn design. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this you learned something from it. As usual, this is Nyako. Welcome to OB Studios, and I hope to see you back again.